Morning, everyone. So, I have looked for some stories to read to you about the five pillars of Islam, but unfortunately, I can't read them. Some of them are in Arabic, and I don't read Arabic, and they just aren't suitable to read to you. So, unfortunately, I'm just going to read traditional tales, and I found a really odd one to read to you. It's quite funny. Well, I think it is. So, here we go. It's called The Straw, the Coal and the Bean. In a village lived an old woman who had gathered together a dish full of beans, like baked beans, and wanted to cook them. But not baked beans in red sauce like we know, beans before they get put in the red sauce. So she made a fire on her hearth, which is where the coals are, and that it might burn quicker, she lit it with a handful of straw. When she was emptying the beans into the pan, one dropped without her seeing it, and it lay on the ground beside a piece of straw, and soon afterwards a burning coal from the fire leapt down next to the two. The straw began and said, "Dear friends, where do you come from, and why are you here?" The piece of coal replied, "I, fortunately, have jumped out of the fire, and if I had not escaped by sheer force, my death would have been certain. I should have been burnt to ash." The bean said, "I too have escaped with my whole skin, but if the old woman had got me into her pan, I should have been made into a soup without any mercy, like my friends in the pan." "And would a better fate have fallen to my lot?" said the straw. "The old woman has destroyed all of my brothers in that fire and smoke. She seized 60 of them all at once and took their lives without thinking. I, luckily though, have slipped through her fingers and landed here with you two." "Well, what are we all to do now?" said the coal. "I think," answered the bean, "that as we have so fortunately escaped death, we should all stick together like good friends, and this will stop any misfortune overtaking us. We should go away together and find a different country to live in." This idea pleased the other two, and they set out on their journey together. Soon, however, they came to a little stream, and as there was no bridge or footplank, they didn't know how to get across them. The straw hit on a good idea and said, "I will lay myself straight across, and then you can walk over on me as a bridge." The straw therefore stretched itself from one edge of the bank to the other, and the coal, who was quite impetuous, that means wants to do things really quickly, tripped quite boldly onto the newly built bridge. But when she had reached the middle and heard the water rushing beneath her, she was quite afraid, and stood very still and would not go any further along the bridge, and fell into the stream. Oh, hang on a minute. The straw, however, began to burn, broke in two pieces, and fell into the stream. Oh no! The coal slipped after her, hissed when she got into the water, and breathed her last. The bean, however, who had prudently stayed behind on the shore, could not but laugh at what was happening from the side, at the straw and the coal, and laughed so much that her side split and she burst. It would have been all over for her as well as it had been for the other two companions, if it was not for the good fortune of a tailor who was travelling in search of work, and he had sat down to rest by the brook. As he had a compassionate heart, he pulled out his needle and thread and sewed her back together there on the spot. The bean thanked him most prettily, but as the tailor had only black thread to hand when he sewed her back together, all beans since that day forward have a black seam through the middle of them. And this is true. Actually, if you look at a white bean, they actually do have a black line along their edge. And that's the story of how a black bean, well, how any white bean has a black line around their edge. This is the tail around them. There you go. So that is your story for today. Quite an odd one, like I said. Have a lovely weekend. I will see you on Monday. Bye-bye.